We are starting with our new topic, that is the building blocks of risk management. Means first of all, we have to understand that what is risk, and then we have to understand about the risk management. So first of all, I would like to clear you one thing. Whenever you start anything, okay, I'm not talking about the share market or money. Even if you start anything, there is a risk. Means what? Suppose you want to earn, say, 10,000 rupees. Okay, you want to earn 10,000 rupees, but how you will earn? By sitting idle at home? Not be possible. So means what? In order to earn this 10,000 rupees, you have to take some risk. You have to take some risk, and when you will take risk, you will get return. Means without taking any kind of risk, you will not be getting the desired returns. Means whatever the returns you are desiring, you won't be able to get that particular return. Suppose I am saying that you are standing at this point A and you have to reach at this point B through this path. Okay, this is the path which you have to take to walk from point A to point B, but the particular surface which you have to walk is very slippery. Okay, now you have two options: either you can go to B or you cannot go to B. If you don't want to take risk, you won't be able to reach at this point, but if you are willing to take the risk, might be the possibility that you will reach here. It is not 100% sure that you will reach. Why? Because there is some risk involved in between. So suppose you started here, the path is very difficult to cross. Why? Because it is very slippery, and you know that path is slippery. So what you will do? You will try to find out some way, okay, some like rope kind of stuff which you can hold and walk, which you can hold and walk. Now what this rope is? The rope is kind of the risk management. Okay, this rope is a kind of risk management. Means you know there is a risk, but how you are managing your risk? By holding this rope. Okay, you are walking by holding this rope. Now the chances that you will fall in the path is very less, but yes, you can fall. Okay, might be that rope is not that strong enough, might be the surface is so slippery that even by holding the rope you cannot walk properly. So there can be many scenarios, because we don't know anything about this path. We can assume the things that what can happen in the path, but we are not sure. There can be one possibility also, that I will see that okay, previously Ram went through this surface, Shyam also went through this surface, Mr. X went through this surface, Mr. Y, Z. Means I'll be having the historical data available. I have the historical data available and I can analyze this historical data. But Mr. Ram visited in 1990s, Shyam visited in 1995, X visited in 1875, Y visited in 2007, and Z visited in 2010, and now you are going in 2020. And now you are going in 2020. So might be the possibility that this surface have changed, and what had happened during the period of Ram, Shyam, X and Y might not happen today. Okay, but still you will take some idea if you have seen that there are such and such possibilities. So you can expect that at least 30% will follow the same, might be there are some 70% changes. So what you are doing, you are trying to manage your risk. And next we will quantify our risk. Means how much risk is there, we are quantifying. Means how much risk is there, means suppose if I fall, okay, if I fall, then my bones will break down. Might be the bones of my hand will break down, might be the bones of my leg will break down. So what are the expenses, which I have to bear if my particular bone will break down? So there is a risk, amount of loss, say it is coming at $700 will be the loss. $700 will be the loss to me. Clear? Now there are two things. One is expected, the other one is unexpected. Means what? You are expecting that yes, surface will be slippery and I will fall at least twice or thrice before reaching to the point twice or thrice before reaching to the point B, but something happened. Something happened means what happened? A strong gush of wind coming towards you, and the speed of the wind is 180 km per hour. So means what? This created the huge amount of loss to you. Means you have expected that my bones are going to break if I'll fall, but because of this heavy speed of air, I fall and I struck to the wall. Means not only the bones of my leg broke, along with the bones of my hands also broke. Means something was unexpected that can also happen. Means see, I am assuming all this when I am standing at this point. I haven't entered yet, but still everything I am assuming, everything I am managing while before starting. Means all these scenarios are before starting. Means what? I have tried to manage the risk. I have tried to create the rope for me. Means in case something happen, there must be something which can protect me. But the rope which you have created is to protect you from some expected loss. Means that you will fall 2-3 times and you will hold the rope and you will be saved. But what will happen if some unexpected scenario will happen during the journey? If some unexpected scenario, suppose might be there is a flood, might be heavy rainfall, okay, might be some drought, some landslides occurred. So all these will give you some unexpected loss. Clear? So rather than taking you directly into the market, I am trying to build your base with a short summary that what you are going to do if you are in such a scenario. Obviously you will be having some plans. The same thing a risk manager will do when he or she will enter into the market. Okay, there are lots of risk involved. Lots of risk involved means when you entered here also lots of risk available. What are those risks? It can be, suppose you have started but you are unable to reach. Okay, might be you have expected some huge losses. Okay, means your legs broke, your hand broke down, then your head broke down. Lots of losses which you have not expected, but it happened with you. Clear? So similarly, when someone, a risk manager, start working on the market, there are many different kinds of risk. And what are those different kinds of risk? We have to understand. One is our market risk. Okay, the risk which is because of the market. There is a one kind of risk, that is credit risk. The risk that I have given a loan to Mr. B, but B did not repay it to me. Means I have given $700 to B, but he told me that he will pay me after 1 year, but now he is not paying. He defaulted. Means I am not going to get my $700. Next, we have operational risk. Means there are some internal frauds that occurred and that really like broke my company from internally. That internal fraud took like thousands of crores from my company. So these are the operational risk. Even the faulty systems which you are using. Means what? Suppose in order to know that how much risk can happen during this journey, I created a model. Okay, and I input all the data which I have. Means how much the surface is slippery, what is the speed of the wind, okay, is there any water flowing or not in the pathway, what are the chances of the landslide. I have input all the data into the model. Clear? Now after putting all the inputs, it gave me the result that okay, your bones of hands and legs are going to break down. Now suppose, what if the model which I am using is not accurate? Okay, he told you that there is a chance that only the bone of the leg will break down, but the model was inaccurate and I expected that it was accurate. I went there, but I find that it was completely disastrous. Not only it is impacting my legs, it is impacting my whole life. So the faulty models are also coming under our operational risk. Next we have the liquidity risk. Okay, now what is this liquidity risk is all about? Suppose I am just giving you an example. suppose here is Mr. A, here is Mr. B. Okay, Mr. A took 10,000 rupees from B. Okay, Mr. B gave 10,000 rupees to A, and B told that I will come on 10th of March 2021 to take this money back from you. Okay, so Mr. A told it's okay, I will pay you the money on 10th of March. But Mr. A invested this amount in some place from where he will get this 10,000 on say 12th of March. Now when B will come on the 10th of March, B won't be able to take the money because A don't have. A will be getting this money on 12th of March. So means what? There is the liquidity risk, and this liquidity risk is funding liquidity risk. What kind of liquidity risk this is? This is a funding liquidity risk, means A don't have enough funds in his pocket that he can give the money back to B. Okay, so he need to give money to this person in such a way that he will receive the money on 9th of March or before, so that he can repay the money back to B. So this is the liquidity management. This is liquidity management. There is one more kind of liquidity risk available in the market, that is the market liquidity risk. Okay, first one is the funding liquidity risk. This is market liquidity risk. Now what is this market liquidity risk is all about? Suppose Mr. A have say 10 lakh worth rupees gold available. Okay, but due to some urgent situations, might be his father is not well and he is in need of money to operate his father. Now what he will do? He have to sell his gold immediately. He have to sell his gold immediately. Now he went into the market and he told that I want to sell my gold of worth rupees 10 lakh, but because of gold is illiquid in nature, seller, he is the seller, the buyer quoted that I will take your gold at 9 lakh rupees. Now A will have two options, either I can sell it at 9 lakh or I should not sell, but he is in need of money because of his father, so he have to sell his gold at 9 lakh and he have to bear the loss of 1 lakh rupees. And this 1 lakh loss is because the gold is an illiquid asset. If this would have been a liquid asset, then the buyer is ready to take at 99,99,000 say 700. So 300 we can say is not the major amount, and it is not that the huge risk. But yes, if your asset is illiquid in nature, then we can say that we have to suffer the market liquidity risk. Now why we can say a particular security is illiquid or liquid? What is a liquid security? In which there are huge number of buyer and seller. And what is illiquid security? In which there are very small number of buyer and seller. I will give you a small example. Okay, suppose this is a marketplace, and in this marketplace there is one mobile dealer. Okay, and within the radius of 20 kilometers he is the only mobile dealer. Clear? So now this is another market in which there are hundreds of market dealers. Clear? So their prices are quite comparative. Say they all are quoting the price of 20,000 for one mobile phone. Clear? But this mobile dealer is quoting at 21,000. So can you see there is a price gap? The price gap, and now the buyer have to buy the phone, because otherwise he have to walk for 20 kilometers to buy the phone. So what he decided, that I can buy the phone at 21,000. Clear? So we can say that this particular market is illiquid in nature and this particular market is liquid in nature. Clear? Got the idea? And because of illiquidity, the buyer have to give extra 1000. So this is the cost to the buyer. Now if you want to know what is the example of selling, so there are two markets in which there is only one buyer and here we have 100 buyer. Okay, you have one phone whose worth is say 19,000. Okay, now suppose you belong to this particular area. Clear? So you went to this buyer and you told that I want to sell my phone. So buyer said okay, I will give you 17,000. Why? Because buyer knows that there is no other player in the market and he want to sell, so he don't have any option. I will take some benefit. So he took the benefit of 2000. So this 2000 is the liquidity cost. Why? Because your phone is not liquid in that particular market. But if you are the part of this market, suppose you started at 19,000. Okay, one buyer quoted say 18,000. Other buyer will quote 18,100. Then another will come, he will say okay 18,300. Something like that. Then there will be price something like that. Okay, and you will agree to sell to this person. Means because of very liquid nature, there are many buyers and they will quote their own price and they will eventually move towards your price. Why? Because they want to buy. Because they want to buy and here you have to sell. Clear? So these four are the major risk: market risk, credit risk, operational risk and liquidity risk. So now what is market risk? Suppose you have 10,000 rupees shares of Reliance Industries. Okay, now what is the market risk? The market is that the price of the Reliance Industry will fall, and when the price of the Reliance Industry will fall, you have to bear a loss. So that is our market risk. Clear? Now apart from these four major risks, we have some small and minor risk as well. One is, these are the small risk. Okay, first we have legal and regulatory risk. Okay, write it down first: legal and regulatory risk. Second we have is business and strategic risk. Second we have business and strategic risk, and the last one we have is a reputation risk. Clear? So let us start with the legal risk. Okay, means what? Suppose your company name is Ram and Company. Okay, and one of your client filed a case against you. Okay, so means what? A particular case can create an uncertainty for your firm. A particular case can create an uncertainty for your firm. Okay, it can be because of the financial transaction as well. Means suppose A and B, they both are into the financial transaction. And clear? But one party is trying to terminate the contract forcefully and A took the help of the court. So B have to come to the court and explain the reason and justify himself that yes, he is on the right ground. Otherwise he have to face huge amount of loss because of this legal risk, and this will create the uncertainty for this firm. This is our legal risk. Now what is our regulatory risk? Regulatory risk is completely dependent upon our government. Okay, the change in the tax laws. Okay, means what? Suppose government said that now I am changing the tax from 10% to 25%. Okay, so this will really impact the earnings of the individuals. This will really impact the earning of the individual. This is also a regulatory risk for the company. Now apart from this, they government told that you have to keep the huge amount of margin. You have to keep huge amount of margin. Now what is this huge amount of margin means? Suppose you are entering into a trade with B and there is a risk that either A will default or B will default. Then what will happen? A will keep the margin of say 500 rupees and B will also keep the margin of 500 rupees. Clear? And whatever the loss and profit will be set off through this margin. But if you have to keep lots of margin, you need to have that much huge amount of cash in your hand. If you don't have that much amount of cash in your hand, will you be able to keep that margin? No. So means you are unable to do that particular trade. Clear? There is one saying is that this legal and regulatory risk, it can be integrated with our operational risk. This legal and regulatory risk, it can be integrated with our operational risk, as well as it can also be related to our reputation risk. This is our reputation risk. Means what? If there is a case filed against you, then this is somewhere talking about your reputations, as well as legal and regulatory risk can also be combined, integrated with our operational risk. Now let us discuss our business risk and strategic risk. What is our business risk is all about? Means you have to do the business, you are trading into the market. Okay, now what is the risk? The risk is that your profitability will be affected, as well as your revenue will be affected. Now what can be the scenarios which can impact your profitability and the revenue? Might be the cost increase. The product which you are creating might be the cost increase because of the increase in the input prices. Okay, the cost of the input might be the cost of electricity increased, might be the cost of rent increase. Okay, so this leads to the decrease in your profitability. Along with that, there are certain criteria which reduced your revenue, such as the consumer demands. Okay, means your product are not as innovative as demanded by the consumers. So because of which now consumers are shifting towards other companies. Means what? There is a loss to you. Why? Because a new company entered into the market and they have developed a new product which can divert the interest of the consumers from your organization to other organization. Might be the delay in the shipping. Means suppose you have to deliver a product to Mr. B within 3 days, but because of some issues it won't be able to deliver. Okay, so this leads to the loss of profit and revenue. Now what is our strategic risk? Means what? You have started with a business. Okay, suppose I am assuming that once in a life you have a thought for a business. Okay, and when you have thought of a business, you cannot think just for like 3 months from now. Okay, you have to plan 3 months from now, but you have to make long term plan at least for 5 years and 10 years from now. Okay, but because of some problem, because of some issues in your strategy, this created the whole plan as a flop plan. Let me give you few examples. Suppose over the period of 1 year you have developed the product. Okay, and in your strategy you have not included the market research, but you have developed the product on your thought that it will be liked by the consumers. But when you have launched the product here, it is not at all liked by the consumer. Means you can say that your product failed, and the huge amount of investment which you have done during the development of this product is now a waste at the end. Clear? If I will take the example of bank. Okay, bank follow certain standards when they have to give loan to the consumers. Okay, now suppose something wrong happened and they changed their standards of disbursing the loan. Means what? Now they are more lenient. Means without checking their income statement, they are giving the loan to everyone with the hope that I will get the huge amount of interest income. But at the end the bank failed. Why? Because most of the consumer are unable to pay the loans, and the bank gave them loan without checking their income, balance sheet and the past historical incomes. So this leads to the insolvency of the banking structure. So this is a strategic risk. So now our last risk is our reputation risk. Okay, the word itself is enough to explain that what it wants to say. Means what? Their reputation, means their value in the market, their credit worthiness in the market. Now people are not trusting your company. Okay, so this is your reputation risk. When consumers are not going to trust your company, they are not going to buy your product. Okay, but why they are not going to buy your product? Might be some fault in your product, might be the service which you are providing is not good. So this leads to the downfall of the reputation for a particular company. Suppose I'll give you an example of a Maggie that is created by the Nestle. There is a huge downfall we have experienced during a particular point of time, but then after this period, Nestle comes out with the huge impact in the market by the huge amount of advertisement. They again recreated their reputation in the market. They again recreated their reputation in the market, means there is a point of time when everyone have Maggie in their home and they did not eat it and they have thrown them into the dustbins. Okay, that was the moment. But now after a point of time, their marketing worked so well that now people are again started eating that Maggie. So means their reputation fallen once a time, and then they again took the charge of it, and their marketing was so strong that they built their reputation which was better than in the past. Suppose in case of banking, I'll give you an example. There are two banks. Okay, here is HDFC Bank and here is another bank, say Axis Bank. Now if you'll see and compare these two banks, you will see that there are lots of frauds happening in the HDFC Bank. Okay, lots of cyber crimes are happening in this bank. The money of the consumers are not safe. Okay, this is the kind of news which we used to get on a regular basis, but we find that HDFC Axis Bank is quite clean. Okay, and you can trust this bank. There are no technical frauds. Okay, no cyber crime. So where you will park your money? Obviously after knowing this, you will park your money in Axis Bank. So this is all about the reputation. Clear? So I end this lecture here. Hopefully you will got some idea about the risk. Okay, and in the next part I will be coming up with the same chapter only, and will be discussing few topics from the starting, such as what can be the expected loss, what are the unexpected loss, then how can we quantify our risk, how to manage the risk. All those things now we are going to study our next part, and again we'll be like giving a brief note that what is market risk, what is credit risk, operational risk, liquidity risk. Clear? Thank you.